that should do it. I think we should be live now. Let's see. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Saturday Morning Live with Andy's Hobby Headquarters. Get ready. Okay, it's saying. Okay, that's coming on now. Here we go. It's a little lagged. Good morning, everyone. Okay, people are starting to turn up. So, hi, everyone. It's Andy from Hobby Headquarters. Welcome to Saturday Morning Live. And I've got a very good friend with me here today, Mike Reeves. And why don't you tell him a little about yourself first before we get going?
Hi, everybody. Like Andy said, my name is Mike Reeves. I'm a longtime Valley resident. I've been coming to Andy since day one, 14 years now. And
in fact, you were the very first person I posted up, I think it was Hyperscale, over 14 years ago, that, hey, I'm opening a store in Phoenix, and you were the first person to chime in. So,
absolutely.
So that was excellent.
There's been a lot of good memories and a lot of plastic purchased here since then. So I also am not just a regular model builder. Airplanes are my thing. 48 scale is my scale of choice, but I also own and operate a little resin manufacturing company called Phasehangar Resin. So I make aftermarket parts for mostly modern jets right now. The line's continually expanding, so that takes up a lot of my time. I brought a few things along with me to show you guys, and certainly if you have questions about the resin business or the casting, how things are done, I'd be more than happy to help with that and show you some of the stuff that I do. So
excellent. And then you can see I broke it up into the multiple windows. Now this is why don't you show them a few of your airplanes that we'll put up on the bigger part of the screen here. This is some of Mike's work. She's all right to carry it right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just finished this Tamiya F-16 48 scale about 3 months ago. There's none of my stuff on there, but I thought I'd bring it down just because it's a Tamiya kit and it's the most fun thing I've ever done. So
yeah, that looks beautiful right there.
We are going to be looking at doing some upgrades for this model here in the short term. I'm going to be redoing exhaust. This happens to be an Aries exhaust on here, but I'm not really happy with the ribbing on it on the pedals, so we're looking at maybe making those. Most of my new masters that we're doing aren't going to be handmade. We're going to be using the 3D printing technology to make these things. So that, and right now what I'm most excited about is this guy right here, which is the Zukimura 48 scale F4 Phantom kit. I just actually stopped my pre-orders on these. I'm doing seamless intakes for this kit that will be cast in white. This is one of my backup masters. They're going to be a drop-in fit right into the kit. Seamless. They fit perfect. It's kind of hard to do when I'm on the camera here, but
these are the things you have to do when you're filming. You should see how much when I'm trying to film a regular video, how many times.
And we got a little fan section here that we're working on. One of the best sellers I've got right now, if you have the Tarangus 48 scale vegan kit, I'm doing seamless intakes for that as well. Again, just a plain old drop-in fit, nothing fancy. That's been a really cool thing that I've had the opportunity to do. And last but not least, as far as new stuff goes, those of you that are building A4 Skyhawks, like similar to the one I just had on the table, I'm doing Super Fox intakes. So they're the bulged intakes that the later A4Fs and A4Ms had. Blue Angels flew with those. So these are going to be seamless drop-in. In fact, this is one of the masters right here. So anyway, love to have you guys come and take a look at
May I have one of those right there? We're gonna pop this onto the screen right here so you can. Oh yeah, there we go. And why don't you give them your address, because there's some people here now. Do you ship all over the world? Because I do. There's a gentleman right there from the UK asking, and why don't you give him your online store and stuff? Because obviously he's going to be my airplane expert, we'll call it. You guys might be wondering too. I mean, I just point out what happened to Lucas C. Lucas C. was busy this morning. He has a job. I know what a dummy working at a job like that. But no, and so Mike will be coming in from time to time. We'll still have Luca coming back doing cars. So obviously, you guys know my big thing is armor. So we have an expert on airplanes. We've got an expert on cars. I also plan on having some other people come in that are experts on sci-fi. A little more than what I know. So, but his products are excellent, and Phasehangar is his thing. So why don't you, I'm sorry, go ahead and give them your web address if they want to look at your stuff.
Yeah, my web address is www.phasehangarresin, so Phasehangar, all one word, resin.com. I do ship all over the world. I will ship anywhere you live or want something to be sent. I also have a Facebook page at Phasehangar Resin. At facebook.com. I don't know how the URL works for Facebook, but just search Phasehangar Resin. Also, I have a little discussion page that I set up off of there as well, which is kind of cool. Not just for showcasing our stuff, but your stuff. I want to see what you guys do.
And also, too, he is on Mediocre Modelers Club on Facebook.
Yes.
And in fact, so if you get lost and you can't find him any other where, you can make a little note even on there to say, hey, Mike, I want to get a hold of you, and we'll be putting up his stuff on there as well all the time. So, and you can see, Mike, we've got like I said, he's new here, so we're gonna I'm pointing at the
ship
screen.
To the moon?
Yep,
well,
pretty much.
Elon Musk is trying to ship a Tesla there, isn't he?
Yeah, well, if they get that working, I'm sure he will on it then. So we're getting people from all over the world here, so we thought it's great to have someone. You can see his work. He does excellent jobs on airplanes, and he knows all the stuff about. When he was talking about the bulged intakes, I couldn't tell you what in the world those are called or anything else. So this is why it's good to bring in all kinds of modelers, because right now, tuning in, God, you guys, and I was showing you, like, we've got people from Malta, from Russia, from England, and everybody's got a little bit of a different interest, we'll call it. I mean, I do a little bit of everything, but armor's still my thing. So
no, Stephen, I do not have a YouTube thing yet. I'm not that technically savvy.
And he'll be showing up on here. So
right.
Yeah, from time to time, if he's up for it, and we love having him right there. And hey, and I just want to show you guys, and I was telling him, if you guys want to just take the next couple of seconds and just punch the either the state you're in or the country you're in right now. That would be great. Just want to show you that just the diversity. Yep. Let's. Sorry. Sometimes I start reading all your messages, and some of them are pretty funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he's got very, very good pricing on his resin too. If you go onto his site right there, he'll have all the prices all laid out for you guys. So.
Well, and I can tell you this: I did actually lower my prices to help not just stem business or kind of get that going. It was more for a lot of you folks that do live overseas. I know that shipping can be cost prohibitive. And so while I can't change the cost of shipping, all of our shipping is standard flat $13.50, I think I charge for overseas. Anything that you order over $100, shipping is free no matter where you're at. But if I could cut back on the prices a little bit to get you guys a little bit better deal to make it more worth your while, to ship overseas. That's why I lowered my prices. So glad that you like my pricing.
Right there, and look at the people. It's just spinning
Costa
through
Rica,
there,
wow.
Everywhere in the world. Yeah, that's what I was explaining to him earlier too. Since this is his first time here, how we can get out to the world, and that we are such a small modeling community in general, and it's so good that we have these things that we can all meet up together, discuss things, and Mike's here today to take questions too. So in a few minutes, I got a few other things I wanted to tell you guys about, and then we're gonna do like the typical and take questions. And he'll actually know about airplanes and probably get them right. Whereas if you ask me, I mean,
well, don't count on all of that.
Might not be right if I give it to you. One other quick thing, I'm just gonna move that over to the side. The next video coming up from, no, this is not gonna work. That's too big. But let's reverse some of the cameras here. So we have, Tamiya has sent me out, I have the new prototype copy of the M3 Stuart, and you can see it's photocopied pieces, and I started the video yesterday, and this is literally an hour's worth of work. And so you know how this kit's going to go together. There's like 5 sprues inside of it, and I'll have a complete breakdown. Probably have this video out Monday, Tuesday at the absolute latest, because the kit is literally falling together. It's a Tamiya kit, and just absolutely gorgeous. I'll just show you a couple other quick things on it. First of all, they are giving you 2 types of people that go inside of it, 2 heads basically. So you can either make it a Russian vehicle or an American vehicle, and it's an M3 Stuart Late. So very excited about getting this, because this is 100% brand new. It is nothing to do with that 40-year-old kit. All brand new stuff. So I'm just telling you guys, the hour and a half that I spent cleaning this up and putting it together, it's typical Tamiya. You're going to absolutely just love the way this kit goes together. So look for that next week.
That thing's tiny.
Yeah, it's probably going to be about that big when you guys are done on it, but 35th scale for you. And then a couple other things I want to talk to you about. A few people were mentioning it. Well, we mentioned it earlier, I should say. The Mediocre Modelers Club on Facebook. That is a great way for you guys to show me what you're working on. We have 2,500 great guys on there already, and growing constantly. And what I want to tell you guys, it's a safe place to go on there and for modelers.
Right.
We don't allow any type of, messing around. Constructive criticisms, always welcome. But we don't have anyone being jerks to each other. And that's one big thing that in me, I'm always upbeat and happy about this hobby, and I keep it that way. So I got lots and lots of moderators on there, and they watch everything, so it's only the best of the best on there. And what I mean by that is people-wise. Modeling, we want anyone from, if it's your first model, all the way up to if you've been building for 40 years. Everybody can learn from something from somebody else,
Yep.
So we're all excited about that. Oh, and then, well, since we got a couple quick questions, I'll answer these. That was another nice thing. To me, it was actually wrote on the box for me all of the pertinent information. So the vehicle is worldwide release date is June 20th of 2018, which means we will probably get it mid-July in the United States, and that's all based on shipping, around the world. So the MSRP is $42 in the United States, so it'll probably be in the low 30s to mid 30s, always in American dollars, because that's, you're gonna have to do the conversion for your country on it, and then obviously in Japan it'll be a little less expensive. So if you guys want to, it's free to get on Mediocre Modelers. I had to think about it for a second, what it's called. It's free, and I go on there all the time. Mike's on there. All the other people are on there, and we'd love to.
Yeah, and I've probably let a few of you guys. I've accepted your membership because Andy's got me as a moderator for some crazy reason too. So.
Well, I trust him a tiny bit, so at least with letting you guys in on it. So.
Right.
And then another quick thing I'm going to talk to you guys about with the Mediocre Modelers Club. Everybody, I sell lots and lots of t-shirts in here, and everybody's wanting one of those. Right now, Spreadshirt and all that information's down in the bottom of the links down here. Spreadshirt is running free worldwide shipping on t-shirts, either the Andy's Hobby Headquarters, the Mediocre Modelers, all of that stuff. So just a quick little plug for my thing there. And one other quick thing, some exciting news that I have. I've been in contact with the people from the Bovington Tank Museum, and they've invited me out for their next model show. It'll either be the October, more than likely the October one. We're going to see if we can work this out, but I'm very, very excited. They've invited me out, and we're going to do a top 5 my favorite tanks, which I'm not going to give away right now. But we're also making an appearance at the big model show in Bovington. So they've invited me. Now I have to figure out, for cost of getting over there and all the other stuff. So hopefully we can pull it off. But this way, I know I've got a lot of people from the United Kingdom and from Europe, and it's just a quick little jump. So hopefully later this year I'll get to go over there and meet a bunch of you guys. So I'm so thrilled. I get so many people through the door every day here from around the world that come into this little, let's just face it, it's a little hole-in-the-wall hobby store in Phoenix, Arizona, or Glendale, Arizona. And I'm just so humbled that so many of you guys come from everywhere just to come see it. So hopefully, everything goes right. I will be visiting you guys over in Europe very soon. So
when is that show?
I looked it up. It is October, and I believe it's October 13th and 14th. It's either 13th or 14th or 14th and 15th. And then they also have a show in February as well. And they've invited me to come to either one. I think I'm used to warm weather, so I think October will be a little bit more to my liking than
Bring
February.
A jacket anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been there in October.
Tank Fest, I'd love to go. The biggest thing is running everything, and and working out timing, and then of course the cost. It is pretty expensive for us over here to get over there just on a whim like that. But we'll see what happens. But the like I said, they were kind enough to reach out to me. I was very, very happy about that, and I'll get to climb over a bunch of tanks. And I promise you, if I do go, you are going to be seeing so much detailed stuff on tanks. You'll be sickened by the channel after a while, because I'm going to go over there and I'm just going to spend like 2 or 3 days filming. So let's keep my fingers crossed. Hopefully we get to do that over there. So
yeah, that would be a good time.
Absolutely. You said you were in England then already, so it's pretty...
Yeah. I've been to England about 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Went over there to visit some friends of mine that may even be watching. Because I made the mistake and told them I was going to be on here today. So I'm sure there's going to be some smart comments coming through from them. But such a beautiful place to visit. I actually made it to the Yeovilton model show, which is kind of cool because it's not really a contest. It's a show inside the Air Museum there.
Oh, okay.
And for me, I'm really big into Brit airplanes. And I don't get to see those here in Arizona very often. We got a few down at the Pima Air Museum now, but being able to go through and see some of these things, along with some really amazing models, and they have a great swap meet, and just a fun show because it's not a contest. And it really kind of opened my eyes to the way the Europeans and the Brits do the hobby. The contest comes second, the clubs, the special interest groups, the models, they come first, which I really appreciate. And then, like I said, being able to cruise around a Sea Vixen and a Lynx and you name it at that show, it was really cool.
Yeah, that's another thing I would love. There's a couple other things if I do get to go over there. What you're talking about, I'd love to go because I love airplanes. I don't build airplanes as much, but I love airplanes as much as I do tanks, especially World War II stuff. And also, if I go there, I hear that. The HMS Victory is not too far from there, so I definitely would like to go over to that as well. So, and one other quick thing, if that all works out, I'm also in communication with the people at the Deutsche Panzer Museum in Munster. They might have a type of thing that I'll be able to go over there. So some of my fans in Germany or surrounding areas, if we go to Bovington, we will definitely be going to Munster too and seeing all of that. So. We hope we can. And someone was just mentioning about setting up a GoFundMe page. We actually do have a Patreon page now too. That there's a link in the top of my home page on there, and it's just Andy's Hobby Headquarters. And what I want to do is we want to make this as best we can for you. And I'm not pushing that. If you don't want to, that's fine. But so many people have asked about it that we finally just did one. That we want to get new cameras, new lighting, and all that. So just to make it better for you. No, if you don't want to, that's fine. People have asked about it, so we're going to put one up. I'd love to go to the Kopinka Tank Museum, too. I don't know if we can arrange all of that in one visit. That's a lot of traveling, too. So, but, well, so great. We've talked about all that stuff now, so, hey, let's hear some questions there, too. Yes, the mouse. I'd love to go see that mouse, especially after building that kit. I've got one built in down there, and you want to talk about, there's that kit, which you guys can't see, but it's like this big compared to that little tiny Stuart. So let's see, the Burger Panther. From what I understand, the TACOM Burger Panther should be out in May, which means we'll probably get it in early June. It's, May is the release date on it from the last thing they've told me. So yes, I'd love to go see that mouse. And trust me, guys, if I get to go over there, you will be seeing tons and tons and tons of photography, videos. And based on the other top 5 videos, they let those guys climb all over everything to do their top 5 videos. So I'm going to be climbing all over everything if I get a chance. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Before you say, a few people are asking about the Google Plus page. There was a little bit of an error 2 days ago. I don't actually go on it because we started the Facebook page. And what happened with that, I was closing down one of my personal accounts on Google Plus that I didn't realize that page was attached to that. So that page got taken down. And so I was also getting lots of complaints that there was not any moderators on that anymore because I don't have time to get on that one anymore. So I apologize completely. That page got taken down, and rather than restart it, I'm just pushing everybody over to Mediocre Modelers on Facebook. And I'm sorry if you guys don't like Facebook. It's just that it's so much easier to monitor everything. We've got 9 or 10 moderators on there.
Yeah.
So it keeps everything, because there was people putting bad stuff on the other one, and I wasn't on there to see it. So I apologize completely about that, guys. Because it's got my name on it, I don't want anything out in the world right there, that's being associated with all the negative stuff. So it rather than restart it again and try to get everyone back on, just go over to Mediocre Modelers. We'll let you right in, and you'll have a good time over there, I promise. And there's almost 3 times the amount of people on that one, so you'll see even more and more product on it. So, and then IPMS Nationals. So are you going to be at the...
Yes.
And you're going to be having a booth?
Yes. Right now, I should be having a couple tables myself at the IPMS National show here in Phoenix, August 1st through the 4th at the Phoenix Convention Center. So certainly stop by and see me. There was one question from Stephen Robertson about how I mask canopies.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick, simple. Tamiya tape. I take Tamiya tape. I burnish it down with a toothpick around the frame. And then a brand new number 11 X-Acto blade and a steady hand. Usually there can't be any cold beverages involved if I'm doing canopies or anything like that. So
that's perfect. Then maybe in the next week or two, we could have you set this camera up, show them how you do it if you want.
Sure.
It's 9 in the morning, so there won't hopefully be too many cold beverages before you do that right there. So,
well, most of my model time happens at night when I'm home from my regular job.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Phasehangar is
regular job.
Believe it or not, Phasehangar
man.
is not my full-time gig. So it's a hobby that I've turned into a small business that I really enjoy. And it's always kind of cool when I get these orders from all over the world, and I'm like, wow, my stuff is going to England or Australia or New Zealand, all over Europe and Russia, Poland. It's just really cool. And then to have people take pictures of their stuff and send it to me on my Facebook page is also really rewarding, and that's the best thing about it. Just getting something out of it. It's not necessarily. It's not even the money for me. I just love doing it, and it's a thing where you mentioned earlier that people that are beginning with models and things like that sometimes it's hard to kind of get going. It was the same thing with resin casting. I mean, that was a learning curve that was very difficult. Learning how to use a pressure caster and a vacuum chamber, and I worked on Air Force airplanes, F-16s, F-15s my entire life, and or young adult life, and I'm kind of mechanically inclined, but still, I mean, that was a whole new process, and at the beginning there were a lot of short shots and terrible casts and things like that because I didn't even know how to make the part castable. So there's a whole kind of goofy little science about it, it's really fun.
There's a quick one right there too. Do you have any F4E intakes for 48 scale Hasegawa?
No, not yet. Demold out of Russia does offer those. I don't know if he. I don't even know if he's still in business or not. It is something that we are exploring. I really want to get these ones for the Zukimura kit out. The real good masters. This is just my backup set here. Are in RTV right now in rubber, getting ready to start production. So once I get all my back orders filled on that, because I did a pre-order, I might explore the Hasegawa F4Es. But right now, the Zukimura kit's kind of the flavor of the week, if you will.
Yeah, they've been super popular, and
and
I don't know if you've heard too. Are there more coming out?
Yes, there's F4Es are coming next. So.
You might want to hold off on working on your Hasegawa and wait for the E version of that. I mean,
and one of the big criticisms about this kit in particular is that the back end right here doesn't taper enough, and everybody calls it that it has kind of a big butt, if you will, where Hasegawa got this taper over the engine's correct. It's my understanding that all of the new Zukimura kits that they're doing. F4E, I think eventually you're going to see the whole line. F4S's, F4Fs. They're going to come out with all of that stuff. They're correcting that fuselage, so that's going to be a really cool thing.
So he's the guy who knows about the airplane stuff.
Someone asked what the name of my business is. Phasehangar resin. Pretty simple. Some of you may remember 2 mics resin. That was my old iteration. We decided to rebrand because we were very, very much, I won't say partners, but Bob Sanchez from Two Bobs and I he's the one that kind of helped me get started. And so I kind of followed his lead, and we were kind of co-producing stuff to go with each other's. And, you know, it's been a long time, and I had closed Two Mics for a few years and decided when I came back, we'll go ahead and rebrand and name Phasehangar. Just think it's unique. It's a little bit different, and it's really taken off. So.
And at the end of the video, once this video is not live anymore, and you can rewatch it, because there's lots of questions coming in on the website. We will put all of that into the website on the bottom, or the comment section, or the little section underneath where the picture is right there. And because like there's people coming in asking about the Google Plus page. We just talked about that a little while ago. Watch the video over again and you'll see what happened. Gumball machine is still over there. It's just must just be out of camera right now. So, guy, I don't have a online store at all. My biggest thing right here is I'm running the store here 6 days a week, plus having, you know, trying to make as many videos for you. And so, oh great, we have some people from Germany joining us now too. So that's great. Yeah, so I have enough on my plate right now. I might experiment with doing some online stuff again, but it's got to be able to work out properly.
So any tips for the Tamiya F16 CJ Block 50 and 148? Not really. I mean, this is the Block 2532 kit. The only thing that I struggled with a little bit on here, when I say struggle, it's Tamiya, and you're not really struggling. It's more of probably my own fault. Right here where the fuselage split is, where the forward fuselage meets the rear, I had a little bit of a seam here, which I was able to clean up, and you can kind of hide it with some panel shading and things like that. And then the other little spot that I haven't found an F16 kit yet that I've liked the fit of the intake lip right here. Mine is still not good. I'm not happy with it, but you know what? I finished a model and was still also working a full-time job in casting. So,
and you had fun doing it.
Yeah, and
that's the important part, right?
The Tamiya kit is just beautifully engineered, as with almost every Tamiya kit that, you know, in the past 10 years and newer. It just kind of falls together. Now this one I did use an Aries resin cockpit set, which was a little bit of work, but you know, out of the box the kit is just perfect. You don't need any aftermarket.
Now you worked on F-16s too, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's been around them for quite a bit of time, and so he knows what he's talking about.
Right. Well, it's been a while,
but still, more than I've been around. So hey, let's get some more questions coming in right there. I see we got people from all over the world tuning in on it. And like I was saying earlier, if you're just tuning in, we talked about some of the other stuff. You might want to go back and watch like the Google Plus page and about Facebook and things like that. And like I said, I know some of you are anti-Facebook, but it's the easiest platform to do all this stuff. And you know, and sometimes to get out to as many of you as possible. That's it. You know, that's all we can do for it. So, here's some questions. Oh, and one other quick thing too, before we answer any more of the questions. Lately, I've been doing some more basic type of videos, and I say basic, and I'm getting so many questions from you guys, and I want to bring everybody into the mix. And I know some of you, they get on there and they start, you know, leaving thumbs down and being negative about it, and like, hey, there's a lot of people that are just starting out into this hobby, guys, and we want to bring them on board too. This is what makes this hobby keep going, is by getting new people joining, not just the people that have already been into it. So, you know, definitely, if you have a part of a club, always go out there and try to help everybody out, and have fun with the hobby. That's the important part of it. So,
what's your least favorite part about building models?
Well, my favorite, let me reverse that, and then I'll let you answer. My favorite part is painting and weathering, and you guys might know that. and I don't want to say it the wrong way, but actually building the kit
I'm
is
the same.
building the kit is actually my least favorite part. I still like it, but it's not anything. Doesn't hold a candle to me for. If I had like 10 models in front of me that were completely built, I'd be as happy as can be, because then I'd go, I get to paint and weather all of these things, and I do each one of them differently.
Yep.
And I don't hate building, but it's not painting.
There's a reason I don't do tanks, and it's those things that go around the road wheels. I bought a Tacom, was it Tacom T55 from you? And I had fun assembling it because there's a gajillion parts in that thing. Until I got to the tracks, and I went, there's 4 pin marks on all 4,000 of these things that I have to do.
Yep.
Right back in the box it went, and back out into the stash. So yeah, I love watching and seeing some of the weathering and things on some of this armor stuff. It's one of my favorite things about going to model shows too, is going to the armor section, because y'all that do armor and you do it like all the time, some of this stuff in the case is just ridiculous. And some of the dioramas and things, I love that, but I can't pull that off. So I stay in my lane and build airplanes. But I'm the same way. For me, the assembly part is the worst, especially if I screw something up and it creates more work for me.
Yep.
Which happens inevitably on every model.
You see that, guys? No matter how long you've been building this, especially if you're all new and you go, oh, I messed this up. I mess up almost every single model, even if it's a minor thing. I go, oh, I messed this up right here. And I admit it. Sometimes, you look at something wrong. Or my favorite thing is, might be doing this on airplanes too. You'll be looking at a model on the artwork or the instructions, and then they do a flip on you, and you don't notice that they flip the kit around. And you start gluing stuff on based on what you thought was the right angle. And then you look again and you go, oh, no, those are on. And that's why on my last Stuart kit, the things were on flipped upside down. I didn't realize they had flipped the vehicle back over, and I already had started gluing them on, and I'm like, well, now the thing's on the wrong side. And I noticed after I was done, so.
Right.
That's part of modeling, guys. That's what it is. Oh, I just had a question come up. How long does it take to do a video? Totally depends on the model. This Stuart kit is probably a grand total of 3 to 4 full days, 6-hour days of working on it, to build, paint, and weather, and then do the computer stuff for it, editing up the video as best I can. But then, like and I'm pointing off camera, you guys remember this one? Now, I'm very happy with this one, but this beast took 2 weeks to do, just because of the number of parts inside of it. And that's why I still have that Tacom one coming. I'm still working on it. I just took a break from it because there was so many tiny little pieces. And I had to walk away for a few days, and that's why I'm working on. I was excited to get that M3 Stuart that I showed you guys a little bit earlier. So look for the video on that real soon. I'm having a blast doing that one. That's one you can just pop together in no time, and it's similar, I'm assuming, for airplanes for you too. So
Gary Pashley, friend of mine online that I know. I am thinking about that stuff for the F4 that you asked about with the F4 update.
What's in your opinion too, since you do a lot of airplane, what airplane kit, because this is a question I get for armor all the time, your top 3 airplane manufacturers for model kits in the type of ease, quality, and when I mean quality, I mean, yeah, I know some things might be off slightly, but good enough that the average person would go, yeah, that's an F-16 right there. So,
well, I'll bang the Tamiya drum all day long. Everything that they've done, like I said, over the last 10-15 years has been amazing. I don't really do a whole lot of World War II stuff, for example, but the Tamiya, when they came out with the Spitfire and the Corsairs and the Wildcat, those to me were just fun kits because they don't have a ton of parts, but they fit like a glove, and I can get to the finishing part, which is my favorite part to begin with. Beyond that, I mean, it really does come down to what the subject matter is, what I like. A lot of the Hobby Boss and Trumpeter kits, they get beat up a little bit for maybe some accuracy issues. But for me, I think they're fun to build. Airfix, the new Airfix stuff is an absolute joy to build for the most part. When I got back to building models after I closed 2 mics, my first kit back was the Airfix Javelin in 48 scale. I haven't had that much fun with my clothes on in a long time. It was just a lot of fun to build that kit. So Tamiya, Airfix, Hobby Boss, some of the Trumpeter stuff, some of the Academy kits, Great Wall Hobby. Also, you got to kind of consider your budget, right?
Absolutely,
I mean,
yeah. The prices are all over the place now. I mean, the Airfix is fairly inexpensive, and then sometimes Trumpeter can get pretty expensive.
Well, I mean, the Tamiya F14 is to me, the 48 scale kit is arguably the best plastic model airplane ever engineered. But are most people willing to shell out $75, $85, $95 for it? For me, it's the value of the hobby. What you're going to get out of it versus what you spend. And not everybody has the ability to spend $95 on a Tamiya F14, so they may have to go get the old Revell or Monogram kit. Maybe
and also,
even
when you
Academy.
mentioned price too, I don't interrupt, but price varies around the world a lot.
Right.
I mean, the Japanese Tamiya kits are way less expensive in Japan than they are over here, and Revell of Germany, I'm sure, is way cheaper than what it shows up over here. Like our Revell kits, I've heard, are fairly not expensive, but way more than what we pay for them over here. They're cheap over here, and sometimes because it's all the import and export stuff that gets in our way from.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I remember when the Hasegawa 48 scale F18 came out 30 years ago. That kit was $75 back then, and now they're getting, well, maybe $60, $65.
Yeah.
That was expensive.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, I mean, that tool's 30 years old, and they're pricing them out at close to $100. Inflation, markup, import tax, all of that. So, I think that's why most of us have a stash, right?
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
buy when the buy-in's good, and next thing you know, you've got more models in your closet than you're ever going to build.
Right. And it's I mean, when we talk about that thing too, I really like to know what the import tariffs are on it. We all know, I mean, if you look on the side of a Tamiya box, they print the yen price on the side of the box.
Right.
So we have a general idea, and I always kind of round up. I know it goes up and down, but 100 to 1. 100 yen to $1. So you'll see a kit that comes out that's 3,000 yen. So you go, well, that should be about $30 here. And then it turns up being about $55 here. So it's just all where you are. And here's a gentleman right here. He's chiming in too. Tamiya is really inexpensive in the Japan. So you just never know. So, but it's fun no matter what. And wouldn't you say in this? I know there's some kits that fit better than others, but in this day and age, it's really hard to find a really crappy kit that's new. New. I mean, yeah.
And I'm going to sound like a hypocrite maybe because my job is to make parts to enhance and improve your kit. For me, not every subject matter is one of passion, if you will.
Right.
So I can live with the Hasegawa Spitfire Mark 9 is a millimeter or 2 millimeters too short. I couldn't tell the difference with my naked eye. Some folks can, and I don't begrudge them for that. The old rivet counter moniker that they're given. Again, it's what you get out of it, right?
Absolutely.
And I will build a model just to build it. The Hasegawa A4 that I have here, again, just a fun kit to build. And I've got 10, 11 of these things at home, and they're just a great fun build. It's easy to, it throws together.
People know what we're talking about.
There's a billion paint schemes out there for these things. I really love the aggressors and the adversary stuff, and I happen to make a seat for it.
There you go.
So and now future some bulged intakes and some other stuff coming for that. But for example, the Hasegawa kit is out. Now Hobby Boss has come out with their version of a 48 scale A4, and yeah, it may have a couple accuracy issues. This kit does, and it's Hasegawa. The slat wells aren't supposed to be there on the real airplane. I didn't fix them on my kit because I just didn't care. For me, it was just building and painting this one. So I don't know. It's such a subjective hobby that's based on your passion for the subject.
Absolutely.
How bad you want something,
right?
And your budget,
right? And how much you care. A lot of guys, this is what some of the rivet, and I'm like him. I don't begrudge rivet counters. If you want, I'm happy to anyone that's in the hobby doing whatever they want. But conversely, that if someone looks at it and goes, I really don't care if there's supposed to be 5 bolts on this instead of 6 bolts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm building this for the weekend. I'm doing this to relax, to get away from my job and all this other stuff. And I want to sit down on the weekend, and I want to, like you said, drink a cold beverage and enjoy building a model.
Exactly.
Turn on this, watch it Saturday morning, because it's Saturday afternoon and Saturday night all over the world. Hopefully you guys are building models while you're listening to us talk on about them. I can't emphasize enough, guys, how much this hobby is so much fun. And there's just a small group of people, usually the loudest group of people, that just try to make it negative out of everything. And it's like, you know, so the company messed up a little bit on the kit right there. Unless it's glaring. My problem is fit. Fit problems matter more to me than, oh, you're right, then the shape is slightly off on it. And that's me, though. But like I said, I'm not criticizing. Anyone can believe whatever they want and do it all that. That's great. But I look at this tank right here. This looks like a Panther to me. And but guess what? The real one wasn't made out of plastic. So right off, it's wrong. It also didn't have clear parts on the real one, so it's wrong. So there's probably other little minor things in there, but you know what? I love the way this kit looks. I've got it on the turntable. I leave it on all day during the stories, so I'm happy with it. And if you're happy with it, with what you build, that's all I care about on this. So let's throw some more questions out. I got a few more minutes here. See, I told you this day just goes quite quick. We've been on 45 minutes already, and we've already just tackled all kinds of subjects. So let's get a few more questions. Mike, like I said, is if you're just tuning in here, excellent airplane builder and knows a lot about airplanes, and maybe even can rivet count a little bit if they have a question about that.
And you know, it's funny. It's full disclosure. I actually have a product that I do that does have an inaccuracy, and it's funny you bring up a bolt pattern. And I didn't even catch it when I did it. I did Harrier wheels for early Harriers, like Sea Harriers, AV8As, and things like that, and somebody caught the fact that I was missing one of the holes. So mine, I think, have 6 holes in the main wheel. There's supposed to be 7. Well, I'm not going back to fix it. And they're definitely still better than, I think, what comes in most of the kits. And, you know, there is that minority that's going to notice that. And it's funny when you get called out on it, and then you go look it up. Because then you're like, wait a minute. I can't. And sure as anything, I made it wrong. And it happens.
Yep.
So.
And in armor, too. I mean, things were changing so often. You guys know about Dragon kits, obviously. You'll get a Sturmgeschütz model, Ausführung G, May to June of 44, type thing. Where for that 1 or 2 months, they were making it with a little different piece on it right there. So there's tons of different variations as they go through here. Maybe not as much in airplanes, but well, I'm sure there are. Yeah,
I think armor has more variations than airplanes too.
I mean, you got hundreds of tanks going down a line, and then they realize, hey, this doesn't work right. Change it on the next 5 going through, or type thing. So, yeah, it's crazy on it. But
Randy, thoughts on the Tamiya 48 scale F14A? Best model kit ever made, in my opinion. That thing, it's one of those box shakers. You shake the box, and you get a beautiful model that comes out. I've known several people that have built them, and they rave about it. Andy built one of the first ones.
Yeah, with Paul. Paul helped me out on that. Yeah, that was. Yeah, there's some incredible. Also, speaking of 48 scale, I don't know anything yet, but Shizuoka is coming up in May, and obviously we're expecting new Tamiya kits to be coming out in there, and I truly don't know anything yet, but I would think that there is going to be a 48 scale airplane coming out very soon. It might be announced then. It might be announced later. From what I've heard, is Tamiya is going to be pushing more of the 48 scale stuff and pulling away a little bit from 32nd scale, because they can knock out 3 48 scale airplanes in the time it takes them to produce a 32nd scale. Right. They're not stopping 32nd, but expect some more 48th, and hopefully we will get some. Well, we'll always get pre-production copies, but hopefully we'll get some, early enough that we can really show you and just show you how well they go together. So.
Lionel Lee, probably not, because I think Ares has them, those Phoenix missiles in 48 scale, in their weapons line. Them or Aero Bonus from Ares, Ares or Edward have them. So.
And he's talking about the Phoenix missiles.
The Phoenix missiles. For the probably not gonna. Probably won't tackle those. I'm kind of on an intake kick right now. Those really get popular.
I'd say, huh? Yeah. Well, and if you make it easy enough that, there you go. You're making it easy for the modeler to put this together without doing a ton of sanding and seam filling, and I appreciate that kind of stuff. So,
Any tips for the Hasegawa Raptor in 48 scale?
Have you built that kit?
No, but I have it, and I love the Raptor. My issue with that kit, with every 48 scale F-35 kit that's come out, the ram panels, you'll notice they almost, in scale, that thanks Wayne, they almost look like 2x4s were slapped onto the airplane.
Right.
So for me, the biggest thing there is sanding those down. You don't have to get rid of them completely because you do want to see them. A lot of people I know have done that. They've sanded them down completely and then they rescribed it. You know, F-35s, we're fortunate out here. We have Luke Air Force Base. My son and I went out there for the air show a couple weeks ago, and then we sat at the end of the runway and we're watching airplanes take off and land. That the RAM on those is very hard to see, and they have these kits that it's just so exaggerated.
Overdone. Yeah, it's just too overdone.
And I get why they do it.
Right.
You have to be able to see it somehow. But as far as the fit and everything on that Hasegawa F-22, I haven't heard anything really bad about it.
No,
I would imagine with being Hasegawa, I've always struggled with Hasegawa intakes. I don't know why, except for the Skyhawk. The F-14 intakes, the F-18 Legacy Hornets, those intakes are always a struggle. But no, I think if you're going to do the Hasegawa Raptor, maybe just sand down that RAM a little bit, and you'll enjoy it much better.
Got a question in there about a gentleman was asking about why more people aren't doing model cars, and compared to armor or aircraft. And as a hobby shop owner, I've had this shop now 14 years last week, and I had a shop in San Diego for almost 10 years. And a lot of people do build model cars, but I've noticed with model car builders, they're not as involved as much with clubs and things like that. They kind of do things on their own, whereas, and also, model car builders seem to be a little bit older, either really young or really old. There's not a lot of people, it seems like, and there's people in every age group, but whereas armor builders all seem to be 30s, 40s, 50s, and it seems like the car modelers are real young in their early 20s, or they jump into their 60s. And I'm just basing it on the people that come through the door and are buying the kits. And armor is still my biggest seller in here. It was in San Diego. I mean, I have a big selection of aircraft, everything, and aircraft are really, really close right after it. And I notice a lot of my armor builders are aircraft modelers too. Yeah. They buy a lot of that stuff. And it's funny, it seems like if you're an armor modeler building aircraft, it's part of the deal. It's military stuff. And you might even throw a ship in there. Whereas car modelers never seem to, and I'm basing it only by the people that come in here, don't usually step outside of cars.
Right.
They will never touch military stuff, or if they do, it's just rare. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you like doing, great. But I just noticed that military guys will branch into anything. And military guys will do sci-fi. I know you do sci-fi all the time.
I love sci-fi.
I do too. Sci-fi is great. It's you know, armor in the future type stuff. So
I've got my Bandai AT-AT out in my car right now.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he's built one of those too. There's some great stuff out there. So it's just a matter of, and I like building model cars. I struggle with paint jobs sometime on them. That's why I've been using the Tamiya spray cans right out of the can, because they do a pretty good job. I mean, I know there's guys who use automotive finishes and they get these fabulous paint jobs. I'm not that kind of person. So I want to learn, and just like all of you guys. Speaking of that,
I see the question about the Revell P-51. Is that what you're reading?
No, but we will do that one right here, because we have a P-51 right here that we were going to crack open. In fact, while you're cracking that open there, actually, I did get a knife. If you want to open that up. He's going to talk a little bit about the new P-51 that came in. The thing I want to talk to you about is I have a gentleman, very good modeler too, that is going to be doing some videos with me. He is going to be doing on figure painting and photo etching for like ship models and things like that. Excellent modeler. He's won many awards, and he's going to agree. Maybe in about a week or two, we will do some videos of figure painting and really showing you how to do photo etch properly, and some crazy stuff. So yeah, this is the new, and I'll hold it up while he's showing that right there. This is the brand new Revell of Germany P-51D Mustang. And this is, now correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the earlier one because it doesn't have that little fillet back
right.
there. And there's a little slap that goes on the back between the fuselage and into the tail. So that marks this one as being the very, very early version of it.
Right off the bat, I mean, Revell have been doing some really cool stuff. Again, kind of going back to my wheelhouse is jets. Their tornado kits are really cool. A little overcomplicated, maybe a little bit fiddly, but they look the part. And they're a lot of fun to build. They just came out with the Spitfire not long ago,
Yep.
32nd scale, which I understand is a really nice kit.
The Focke-Wulf and the 109s, yep.
Yeah, in fact, I picked up the Focke-Wulf here.
Oh, yeah.
And that's funny because, again, 48 scale modern, and here I am buying World War II stuff in out of my scale. And so I really, really, really like what Revell is doing because, number one, they're keeping the price down. So those of you that maybe can't afford, don't want to afford, or don't want to deal with the price of, a Tamiya P51, you can get close quality-wise. It's going to have a few things that aren't, Tamiya fit, maybe Tamiya sharpness and crispness of detail, but you're going to get a quality kit every time with these new tools.
Under $30 in this country, too. So
I have not. This is the first time I've actually seen this kit. Jonathan Mock, decals, thank you. Not decals. I love you, man. So he's one of my Brit buddies.
I figured,
he loves to give me trouble.
Get you in trouble.
One thing I have seen on this particular kit, which to me is not a deal breaker, I've got another friend of mine over in the UK. His name is Mike Williams, who does a lot of builds for MAI and some magazines, as other magazines as well. He is building one of these right now. And his big complaint was where the windshield fits. Apparently there's a gap, and I know it's hard to see in the bag, but there's a pretty substantial step where the windscreen fits to the fuselage. Nothing that a little shim or some putty or filler can't fix. Other than that, from what I've seen of his build, he's just enjoying the heck out of it. And again, it's one of those things that you get the enjoyment out of where you find it.
Right.
And, I look at the detail on here, and to me, it's pretty sharp. The cockpit looks pretty nice. I'm sure I'll plug another buddy, Barracuda Cast, Roy Sutherland. I would imagine he'll be coming out with some upgrade parts for those of you that are into maybe adding some of the resin stuff.
I get another question I keep getting up there, too, is Revell going out of business?
No.
A quick little history. I don't believe they are. Hobby Co. is the mother company in this country, and they own my biggest distributor called Great Plains. They also own Revell. They also own Revell of Germany. Now, they own a ton of other RC companies, and this is just what I've been told. The RC companies, they had some problems with some of the stuff, and they're going through some financial things. Revell and Revell of Germany, from all of my understanding, and even my distributor Great Plains, are fine. Those parts of the companies were always doing well, making money, and if something even happened, they would even be spun off into their own separate company. So I don't believe there's going to be any problem. I could be totally wrong. Something could be happening today. But from everything I've heard, they are still going to be around for a long, long time. And I'm glad, too, because they make some great inexpensive kits that are, like you said, fun to put together. So
this one's going home with me today.
So, yeah, he asked about it, and I said, let's talk about it while we're doing it there. And so I don't foresee any problems with them going, for the long term. So.
Oh, Jonathan, I wasn't aware that Roy was involved in the markings for this particular model. So you're not going to find a more accurate set either. Roy does his homework.
Oh, okay.
And he is quite the expert on World War II subjects, especially.
I assume he lives in Britain? Or...
No, Roy is a California guy.
Oh, okay.
Very, very nice, accomplished guy. We may actually be sharing tables at the Nationals together. So.
Yeah, speaking of the National, I've gotten that. We started talking about it earlier. Mike is going to be there with his Phasehangar resins, and I will be there in one shape or form. I'm going to be down there. I do have to run my store, obviously, so I'm expecting a lot of you guys. It's only 25 minutes down the road to come and visit me over here, and I will be making an appearance down there as well. So we haven't figured out times and all that, so and it's still months and months away, so we'll figure all that out.
Well, and I can tell you this. With the show that's coming up at the convention center here in Phoenix, we are having the Hyatt, which is right across the street from there, as our kind of hotel for the show, and they have already filled up and now they're wanting us to open another block of rooms. So we've already got more people coming and room nights booked than we had anticipated at this point.
They must have heard that I was showing up on this.
Must be. Wayne Beatty, Nuga Nats next year. That's going to be fun.
So where is the next year? Chattanooga. Oh, okay. Someone asked me yesterday, and I said, I have no clue. And I didn't have a computer with me at the time, so I couldn't check it. But no, it's going to be a great show. We've had it down here. This is my third time living here in Phoenix that it's been going on. Yeah. In fact, the very first show in 2004 was the year I opened up. So it's kind of good to have. Are you guys going to the Vegas Modelers show in May? Guy, it is so tough for me to go to any of these other shows, especially running here. I was invited to, I always forget the Squadron puts a show on in Dallas every year. Is it EagleCon? EagleCon. And they were kind enough to invite me out, and I feel so bad. I'd love to go out and visit with all you guys. It's just getting away for 3 days, and especially with. If you watch earlier in the show when I was talking about possibility of going to Bovington and then to the German Tank Museum, and so I'm here 6 days a week. I love being here, but it just makes it tough to go out in the world and visit you guys. So we've got about like 4 or 5 more minutes here. If you guys have any other quick questions that we can knock out for you, this has been great. We have quite a few people have tuned in today, and this is how this show is going to be every week. Sometimes Mike will show up, sometimes Luke will be here, we have other guys, and we're also maybe even one day have like 4 or 5 guys of all different genres of stuff, and for an hour or 2 or whatever, as long as ask us questions away. And I love doing this kind of stuff.
This is fun.
So many cool questions, and because I do, and I'm sure you do too. You take for granted. I've been doing something for 25 years. And I go, wow, I just know how to do that. There's a ton of you guys that don't.
Right.
And I love answering questions, especially for young people, and I'm, getting them into the hobby as best we can. And
well, that's the most important thing, is not just getting them into the hobby, but keeping them interested.
Right.
And because there's a lot more competition out there for the hobby than there used to be when we were kids. I've got a 10-year-old son that I've tried to get him into model building. He's much more into playing hockey and the occasional video game. We do slow that down, but it's definitely I won't say a great time waster, but it's really seeing something that starts out like this and ends up like this, obviously a different airplane, is just really cool, and knowing that it was you that did it.
The artistic side of you can come out on it, and just I love it. I mean, I have the same thing. I have a 27-year-old son and a 18-year-old son, and they built models when they were younger, and we did it all together and had fun. But one son is off into woodworking projects now, and the other one is off into filmmaking. And maybe, you know what it might be? When they get into their late 20s, early 30s, they might pick it up again because they remember doing it with dad. So.
Right, and they've kind of sowed their wild oats.
Yeah, doing other stuff.
Maybe gotten married or done, gone traveling or whatever.
Right.
Wayne, yes, I do have more plugs and covers coming for various airplanes. Stay tuned.
So hey, we're coming to the end.
No, we're not brothers.
Oh, that's Aaron. He comes in here all the time. So remember, let me flip this thing around here for you guys. Where'd my mouse go? Okay, well, we'll put it on here. This is Phasehangar resins. And we'll put the web address on here and go on there and check out Mike's stuff. One other quick plug, Mediocre Modelers, the t-shirts and all that. There are free shipping worldwide this weekend at Spreadshirt. There'll be a link down into the description section down in there. Just if you missed any part of the video, go back and watch it. It's going to be up on YouTube in a few minutes. And you can catch up on all the stuff because we had a lot of great information today, and I'm loving the way this is going. So if you have any other questions, nobody's shown up yet. So I'm supposed to open the store, and the doors are open. So if someone walks in, I might have to kill the feed right then and there. But
Dave Fleming, I prefer Bauer sticks to destroy my trashed models with. That's kind of a joke I've got with some of my friends. I built a Hasegawa Harrier that did not go well. I got it to the point where it was almost finished, and I screwed up my paint job beyond belief. And a friend of mine, another UK friend, Drew, he sometimes will take like a hammer or something and he'll just beat a model. So I had to one-up him and put this thing out in my garage, and I put it in our net with a slap shot.
Oh,
so
okay.
A lot of my friends that have seen that video will never let me live that down.
Oh, I did the video where I dropped the tiger track on a model that was old and beat up. I never had so many negative thumbs down.
People get mad.
You
Send
thought
it
I
to
was
me.
crushing puppies or something
Right.
like that. I mean, it was just like, wow, I was just a joke. It had like 7 paint jobs on it. I'd used it a million times. It was like I was going to fire it out in the trash, and I go, nah, I'm just going to destroy it. I thought you guys would get a laugh out of it, but whoa, I'll never do that again.
And I'll tell you, that's one thing that I've always gotten to the point now with the hobby where if I get to a point on a kit where I've either screwed it up or I'm just done with it, I know some of them can be expensive. I get it. It gets in the bin, and I pick up something else because I don't like getting bogged down.
Absolutely. I was just going to say that. Yep.
You know, I don't get a whole lot of time to do my hobby side when I've got this going on. So I want to get the most out of everything that I'm working on.
Absolutely.
And if I get bogged down and I'm continually having to go back and fix something,
that becomes not fun. That's not fun anymore.
It either goes back in the box or
Yeah.
it goes in the garbage. So it just, that's my enjoyment, is when I can finally get to the point where I finish something.
Absolutely.
And you know, the other thing that we kind of touched on, some people were asking about ships and sci-fi and things like that. Funny, Jonathan. I like to break things up.
Me too.
Because sometimes, you know, building the same subject matter, you know, tanks or airplanes
Yep.
or cars, whatever, sometimes you can get to that point where you maybe get what, you know, a writer would call a writer's block. I call it modeler's block. I'll switch it up. Bandai Star Wars kits and the Gundam kits have been an absolute godsend for me because it's just mindless fun. And there's no, I don't really worry about the accuracy side of that because, number one, they aren't real. So I've done, I did a Gundam. I gave it away to my daughter because she loved it. One of the 1/100th ones,
the
high grade ones,
Right.
and I painted it up in the Vigan splinter scheme, and I put it in a scene. That was just so much fun because I didn't have to worry about making sure the gunship gray was the correct shade. You know, this, that, and the other thing. It was just mindless fun. And when you walk out of your hobby room, and you've got that, you know, look on your face like, I just spent 6 hours in my hobby room.
Right.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning. That's you know,
It's incredible, I know. And that's why I like Tamiya so much, too, because you can knock it out pretty quickly.
What was your question about ships?
Yes, and I will be working on the Panther diorama, too. That was the one I told earlier in the video. I just had to take a little break from it. It was getting monotonous because it's the same build as this kit right here, pretty much. A Panther A and a Panther G. Only minor variations on it. But it's going together well. I just, like I said, took a little break. We're working on the Tamiya M3 Stuart late, which go back and watch. I've got pictures of the hull and stuff that we've got in. I've got a prototype from Tamiya, so that'll be coming out very, very soon on the build. Plus, also, one other quick plug, we've got, like I said, a very, very good figure painter and photo etch builder for model ships and all kinds of things like that. And he's going to show us all his technique. Those will be regular videos, though, so you can reference them over and over again.
You did do a ship video, didn't you?
Yeah, I've done a couple of action. They actually did really well. Yeah, see, there's the figure set. I do. This guy actually knows what he's doing, though, so I figure let's put someone on video here that can really teach you. And he's anxious to do it, and we'll probably be starting right after the holiday. So maybe in about a week or two, we'll have a video on that if everything works out properly.
Are you going to keep the feed running?
Yeah, I can for a second.
I'll
Sure.
run out and grab my hat.
Yep. And yeah, since nobody's shown up yet here, we'll keep this running for a few minutes. And I hope you guys are enjoying this type of show. We're trying to get it to, you know, answer as many questions as possible. And the reason we did this is so many of you come in here and visit. I'm not kidding. I get sometimes, 10 people a day from out of state or out of country even. And they come in and visit and want to just ask questions and all this. And this is my way of getting to meet all of you guys. And I love doing this. So he's going to get his ADAP model that he built up. And we'll kind of take... I lost my mouse again. Here we go. We'll flip this around and...
It's a little bit big, but
Yeah.
so again, switching it up. I don't do dioramas. I thought this was going to be kind of fun. I kind of wanted to do a little play on, you know, it's not indoor, and it's not Hoth. It's
this is totally inaccurate.
It's
then.
completely inaccurate because there's just not a gajillion,
Right.
apparently, solar systems in the Star Wars universe.
Exactly, huh?
But this is what I get out of it. Just something fun, completely different than what I normally do. And I get to play around with weathering because I don't know how to weather tanks. So I picked up a few things from Andy and started playing around with this, and just had a blast.
And that's the most important. You had fun doing it. And like me, I'm sure you're doing it. When you came up with this, what did you do? You came up with a story in your mind about where does this doing? What's it happening right there? And it harkens back to being a kid, guys. The trees are huge on this, but you don't know what planet this is. And this is on some planet where the trees are really, really big, or type of thing. It's just so cool to do all that stuff.
Right. And I had bought these trees from Andy. He had them on the little rack back here, and I was like, I could probably use those for something. And then the Tamiya snow, was it Tamiya?
Yeah, Tamiya snow.
So I experimented with that. I got the Vallejo water from you.
Yep.
Everything else came from my yard, basically, except for the base, which I bought at Michael's or something craft store for like $2. And it was just, again, I know the trees are really big, but it also kind of gives me an idea of what scale. So, again,
I think it's really cool. And you had, like you said, you had a lot of fun doing it. And
that's the most important
part.
Hey,
that's the best part of all on it. Well, guys, I is going to have to let you guys go today. I'm going to move out to this scene right here. Thank you again for watching. And remember, this is every Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, Arizona time. Google it if you live in another part of the world, because I had a few people ask me, well, what time is it for me? And I'm like, well, where do you live? I know when it is time for me. So, but you easily can Google it. You'll be able to figure it out. So thank you again. Have fun modeling. And you guys have a happy Passover, happy Easter. Just have a great weekend. And we'll see you next weekend. Bye now.
Take care.